Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Oh, heart sore and heart sick, I think, is how we're all feeling. What's that quote you like to quote from that Big Fish song?
Mighty, 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 mighty boss tones.
Yeah.
The impression that I get, I'm not a coward, but I've never been tested.
Yeah. So many people were tested on the weekend, and this is what happens in moments like this. We see the worst and the best of humanity together. As well as thanking all the first responders, I thought Anthony Albanese said it beautifully when he said
Staff for whom this should have been a normal shift, shoppers peacefully going about their lives, and yet for these Australians their first instinct in the face of danger was to help someone else. That is what we hold on to tonight as Australians. That's confirmation of who we are, brave, strong, together.
So hard, isn't it? And that's my local shopping precinct is Bondi Junction, Westfield. So the first thing you do is check that all your ducks are okay and make sure everyone's okay. And then all our friends, we're all texting each other, everyone okay, everyone's kids okay. Imagine sending out that sonar and not getting anything back from a loved one.
Dreadful.
Absolutely terrifying. And this is what the mall is for us now. This is our town square. And you can see why mums and babies, you're trying to get your baby to sleep, you're bored at home, you need to get out. That's where you head. You head to the shopping centre. Teenagers meet up with each other in the shopping centre. That's where you have your retail therapy. That's where you de-stress. That's where you wander around as aimlessly or as aimfully as you like. And I wonder if we'll ever feel about a shopping mall the same way again. The sanctity of the shopping mall, the right to take it, to be so blasé about wandering around a shopping mall has been taken away from us.
I've always felt, ever since the Strathfield massacre all those years ago, I've always felt unsafe in shopping centres. I always think
Have you? You have since then?
Not unsafe, but I always feel when I go to a shopping centre, I don't mosey around them. I go there usually to get a gift for someone, and you go into one of those shops that sells candles or plates or something like that. So usually it's largely women that I'm buying gifts for, and you're in and out. Like I walk through there, but I'm always very mindful of what's going on. During my holidays though, there was a point where I had to wait for my mum while she went to the dentist. So I just wandered aimlessly around Miranda Fair, and I'm just wandering around, got a coffee. And what you do when you're in those places, you go into a fugue state where you're not really aware of your surroundings. You just sort of switch off a bit.
Which is what we love about the time we spend in a mall.
Yeah.
It's your switch off time.
And you do wonder if something like that had happened. But as I said, ever since what happened at Strathfield Plaza all those years ago, it's always played on my mind.
Also, imagine if we didn't have such strict gun laws. 6 lives lost in a horrendous stabbing frenzy. But imagine if he'd had a gun.
Oh, God.
And I saw someone say, well, he was killed with a gun. Yes, from an armed professional.
Yes.
It wasn't an individual with if everyone was armed, how chaotic that scene would have been. How many more lives would have been lost?
It's been proven time and time again in America where an armed shooter has gone into a place and there's people with guns, but suddenly people just don't have the stones to do it.
No, but also you don't know who someone's got a gun. Yeah. Are you the assailant or are you the good guy?
Are you shooting?
Who knows?
But that police officer, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
The guy with the bollard, absolutely amazing.
The heroism of people has been extraordinary. Something else that I find that I know will be unpicked in coming weeks, as it should be, is he targeted women. We have an epidemic of violence against women in our society at the moment. We don't know what his motives were, but obviously of all the 18 people who were stabbed, 13 were females. What's going on there? I was in Brisbane over the weekend, and my nephew, who's in his early 30s, mid-30s, he said he's gone off Instagram and social media because his algorithm is being fed with the assumption that as a white man in his 30s, he wants to listen to Andrew Tate. He's interested in Joe Rogan, which he isn't. And he's getting a whole lot of anti-trans, anti-woke, so-called he's getting homophobic stuff. And he said this is what's being funneled to young men at the moment. This is a much more wide-ranging conversation. But what an interesting way of looking at this is what is social media doing to the men in our society.
Yeah. Zuckerberg has a lot to answer for, doesn't he, really, when you think about it?
Because they know what the algorithm is.
Yeah.
They tweak that algorithm. It's not just happenstance. It's not organic in any way.
High and mighty. You can't have a breastfeeding mother on Facebook but you can have a guy doing a live shoot.
And you have to have rules if you're going to be a publisher, but he sometimes somehow gets around that.
Yeah,
that it's under the guise that this isn't a publishing platform, but someone's got to be in charge.
And this is free speech, but it's not really. It's the algorithm.
Well, it's targeted. It's absolutely targeted. How are you all feeling? I mean, we need a collective hug. We need and for the people who were there, horrendous. And also there are mental health professionals who are going to be there working with the staff at Bondi Junction. But even if you weren't actively involved on the weekend,
certainly
this triggers a lot of response from a lot of people. The idea that the mall is no longer sacred to us or a safe space. One of the girls who works with us, her sister was travelling overseas and was part of a terrorist moment. Incidents like this yesterday have triggered emotions for her. Is everyone okay? What is it you'd like to talk about regarding this? Use us. This is the ultimate tribal drum. It really is.
Beating for you.